Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be focusing on narrative writing, but specifically we are going to be looking at characterization. When we speak about characterization, it really has to do with the behavior of people in your story. Now listen, when you're working on your characterization, keep it simple. Okay, simple but interesting. The first thing is you do not want more than 4 or 5 characters. I personally do not like my students to go past 4. Otherwise, it can get quite confusing to read, trying to keep it with too many characters. So I would say a great number, 3. 3 numbers. Sorry, 3 characters. Okay, so when you are doing your characterization, you want to make sure you're focusing on your character's physical attributes, meaning what do they look like, but also you want to focus on their body language and their behavior too. So let's use this boy here as an example. So we have a nice, young, handsome teenager. So let's look at some of the things we can do to describe him if he were one of our characters. Of course, we're going to start with his physical attributes, and we can see that he is young. So that's definitely something we want to bring about because his youth might be important to our story. We can also see he's handsome. When we look at him, we want to look in his face to see what else can we say about him. He has beautiful eyes. How can we say that? We might instead say he has charming eyes. Okay, he has charming eyes. That is something that we can bring out as well. Now, let's get a little deeper. Let's say that we want to describe his smile. We're going to put an adjective before that and we're going to say he has a warm smile. What about if he's quite dishonest? So I'm going to flip this around. What about if he is quite dishonest? How can his body language tell us that he is dishonest? We might describe it as a sneaky grin. Let's talk about his physicality a little bit more. Maybe he is a tall boy. We can say that he stands tall. Maybe he is slim. We can say he has a slender frame. No, the other day we were speaking about figurative devices and figurative techniques. We spoke about similes, and we're going to bring that in here as well. When we talk about our similes, how can we use that to describe him? If he is tall, how about we say he's as tall as a tree? He has beautiful eyes. How can we bring in a simile to describe that? Maybe we say he has eyes like stars. Now, the behavior side of your story is going to be very, very important. His behavior will give us a clue as to, what is going to happen in the story. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's say that he's a fun-loving boy. We might describe him as talkative. What about if he is shy? If he's a shy boy, we might say he was looking down as he spoke. So that body language tells us, he might not be very brave. But what if he is actually a quite confident boy? He's sure of himself. We might say he has a confident walk. What about if he is a fun-loving boy? We might say he has playful mannerisms, meaning he's very playful in the way how he carries his body. Okay, we might say he has a loud laugh. What about if something terrible happens in your story and he's actually sad? Okay, how do we say that he is sad? We might say he has tears in his eyes. And what about if he's quite the opposite? What about if he's just a serious loner? How can we say that? To say he's serious, you might say he carried a stern expression. Okay, so when we think about our characterization, remember characterization carries your story. So remember to spend about a paragraph or so fully developing your character.